The balcony garden has grown and changed so much since you saw it last. In this video, I'm going to walk you through and show you everything that we have growing in the garden, and we're also going to harvest some veggies today. Keep on watching. I harvested my first vegetable from the balcony garden in June, and that was a muncher cucumber. I was so thrilled to finally have something to pick, and this cucumber might have been small, but I was very proud of myself for growing it, and it tasted great too. That same day, I gave my basil plant a haircut, and I decided to make some pesto with all of my basil. I absolutely love basil. I love how it smells, and I love how it tastes, and pesto is one of my favorite things to make with it. So I made a big batch of pasta and poured all of the pesto over the top with some cheese, and it was delicious. In addition to the original plants that I put into the garden, I also added a lot of flowers in the month of June. I added quite a few plugs of alyssum, and I also added quite a few marigolds to the garden. I wanted to ensure that we got plenty of pollinators visiting the balcony so that we could get some fruit on our plants. In the month of July, everything really started to fill out. The alyssum that I planted in all of my planters turned into a carpet. I can't believe how thick and lush this alyssum is, and every time I come up the stairs it smells amazing. I also added quite a few more marigolds to the garden. These were all on clearance at our local farm and home store, and I couldn't get over how pretty they were. I believe this variety is called Safari. I finally got my first nasturtium bloom, and I was so thrilled. I love nasturtium, and I never knew they were edible until I went on a hike with my fiance's uncle last year, and he picked a leaf and ate it. So I planted these nasturtium in honor of Uncle Melvin. The garden grows and changes so much every day. We have a Thai bird chili pepper here, and right next to that is our sweet red cherry pepper with some ripening fruit. And this was just a couple days after that original nasturtium bloom, and we already have so many more. I do get excited about veggies in the garden, but nothing makes me happier than seeing these beautiful flowers. And in July, we also got some fruit setting on all of our tomato plants, and this was very exciting because I knew that come August we would be flush with tons of them. And my predictions were correct. We got our first ripe tomatoes on August 1st. These are a Scarlet Dwarf variety, and they are a determinate style tomato, which means as soon as all their fruit ripens, they are done and they won't produce anymore. And thankfully, our second sweet red cherry pepper is starting to ripen. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest both of these today, along with our big Scarlet Dwarf tomatoes. As you can see, some of these tomatoes have some scarring, and there's also some splitting happening on them. The splitting is from too much rain. It's been storming like crazy here, which I believe is what's causing the scarring on the outside of these tomatoes. It gets very windy up on the balcony, and I think the wind banging the tomatoes into everything around them is what causes that. But regardless of the scarring and the splitting, I am still going to be harvesting these tomatoes and using them in the kitchen, and I know that they are still going to have a great flavor. I was so proud of myself and of the garden on this day. I got to fill an entire bowl full of produce, which was kind of shocking for me. I didn't know what to expect from the garden this year, and the fact that I was picking multiple vegetables in a single day from just my balcony just blew my mind, and I was just so thrilled about it. And these vegetables might not be blue ribbon sized or perfect, but the fact that I'm growing them in these conditions just makes me feel so proud and so happy. Now that I have my veggies harvested, I'm going to walk you through the rest of the garden and show you what's going on and what we have growing. We have 2 Muncher cucumber plants in the garden. This first one has been the most productive because it gets the most sunlight. I've harvested about 3 cucumbers off of this, and there's more on the way. Next to our cucumber is our scarlet dwarf tomato. And then in our first planter box, I have a gold nugget cherry tomato. We have quite a few fruits that are about to ripen on this, and they turn a bright orange-yellow color when they're fully ripe. Over the railing, I have my trusty rusty coleus, and this is so beautiful. It's bushed out quite a bit since I planted it, and I love seeing it when I pull up to the apartment building. I have quite a few of these micro dwarf cherry tomatoes. This is kind of my tomato corner. Quite a few different varieties for this small of a space. And then next to the tomatoes, I have some peppers. These are Santa Fe Grande peppers, and they have a mild heat, and they turn orange and red when they're fully ripe. I have another micro dwarf tomato, and then next to that I have my jalapeno plant, and there are quite a few little peppers forming on this, and I'm very excited about that. We eat a ton of jalapenos. And right next to the jalapeno plant, I have my daytail pepper plant. So far, there are no flowers or fruit, but it is an extremely hot pepper and they are more slow growing, so eventually we will have some very spicy peppers coming off of that plant. This is another scarlet dwarf tomato, and I don't know what the problem is with these, but I've had blossom end rot on just about every single tomato that has formed on this plant. I know that you can get blossom end rot from a lack of calcium and nutrients in the soil, but I did fertilize this soil, and I feel that I have given these plants everything that they would need to be successful, so I'm just not sure what else could be causing this. Regardless of how frustrating it is, I've learned to accept it and just move on. Hopefully next year I don't have this issue with this variety of tomato, or maybe I can just try a new one. We've got more marigolds here, and I'm always sure to deadhead these as they bloom and then pass away, just to ensure that I get lots more blooms on my little plants. So that is everything in the front corner of the balcony. Now that I've shown you all of these beautiful plants, let's take a look at the other side and walk you through what we've got growing over there. Over the railing, I have my lovely petunias in between 2 planter boxes. In this box we have peppers. This is a Thai bird chili pepper that's actually from Thailand. I had a friend give me some seeds from a trip that he took. And then I have my sweet red cherry pepper here. Lots of new fruit is on the way. And in the other planter box, I have another Gold Nugget cherry tomato. And a very tiny Thai holy basil or tulsi. These seeds were also from Thailand. Here is my humble herb garden. I have another tulsi plant. And right next to that is my big bushy basil plant. Every time I cut this back, I feel like it regrows overnight. It's so fruitful. And then I have my lovely rosemary. I always have to have rosemary in the garden. It reminds me of my Oma. Our safari marigolds are still thriving. I love how vibrant these are, and the little speckles on them are so cute. And then we have our potatoes in grow bags against the wall. This is the red Pontiac potato, and I am just so excited to eventually pull these out and see what we have hiding under the surface. They haven't bloomed yet, but I did a little bit of digging and I can feel potatoes under there, so I'm very excited. We have another micro dwarf cherry tomato, and then our second muncher cucumber is in a pot next to that. This one hasn't been as fruitful, and I think it's just because it doesn't get as much sun as the other one. And here I have a rainbow dwarf alyssum that I started from seed. If you look closely, you can see the little variation in color in the little petals. It's super pretty, and it smells amazing, just like the typical alyssum that you would get at the store. And then here is my Yukon Gold potato. This one hasn't bloomed yet either, but it has potatoes under the surface just like the red Pontiac. And I think I'm going to dedicate a whole video to harvesting these potatoes eventually. And I have my lovely catnip. These seeds were a gift from my cousin Annie, and it is thriving. I'm looking forward to making some tea with this. And that is everything I have growing in the balcony garden. I'm really proud of myself for utilizing every single square inch of this balcony and growing delicious vegetables for my fiance, my friends, and myself. Every time I open the door, I just get a sense of pride and a smile on my face to see all of my hard work paying off. Gardening really brings me so much joy, and I have something to look forward to every morning. First thing I do is come out on this porch and check everything out and see what's changed overnight or if anything is ready to be picked. And it just makes me so happy, and it makes me look forward to the day when I can do this at a much larger scale. Now that I've walked you through the entire balcony garden and shown you what I have growing, I'm gonna head inside and make myself a BLT with one of those tomatoes that I picked. I want to thank you for watching this video and following along on my balcony garden journey. In between now and the next video that I make for you guys, I'm sure I will continue to be harvesting lots of tomatoes, peppers, and herbs from the garden. I'm hoping to have enough tomatoes to make sauce and enough peppers and cucumbers to make some pickles. I am so grateful that I can just open my apartment door and walk out on the balcony and be able to connect with nature. It's really been a priceless experience, and I am so grateful for the space that I've been given to grow these vegetables in. I look forward to making a new video for you guys in a couple weeks. Hopefully we will have a lot of potatoes to harvest and show you. I hope your garden's doing well wherever you are. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next one.